the Tuesday, October 8th meeting of the Park and Recreation Commission. Start with commissioner updates. Okay.
All right, I went to so we're in October, so the 7th, September school committee meeting.
Okay.
Saw you present. So I met Stacy Damaris. She's our Parks
Okay.
and Rec liaison from the school committee. And then I also sat in on one of their virtual meetings about the new school.
Ooh.
So they're still trying to figure it out. And I've gotten myself onto the Community Outreach Planning Committee, whatever that means.
For Shaker Lane.
School, yeah,
Right.
or Shaker Lane.
Try and let people know that it's coming and
Right,
Yeah.
why we're doing it, and
so it's not a surprise.
eventually how big the bill is.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is all I have to share.
Peter?
Nothing for me today.
And a few things I did, stop in Oktoberfest, which was lots of fun. Somehow got roped into the mug hoist.
I saw that.
Was not the first one out, but
Woohoo!
that's all.
It's hard.
It is hard.
Good. Yeah.
So we, as was just mentioned, we're gonna have a CPC meeting on the 16th to talk about the tennis courts and the fields. Did attend the select board meeting, and Tim was presenting those. Hopefully that all goes smoothly. And then I guess there was some mention or at the one of the recent Clean Lakes Committee meetings, select board member Morrison floated the idea of Park and Rec providing some sort of funding to support Clean Lakes for Long Lake activities. So that's something that is in discussion, and I think we'll have lots more to talk about in the future, but very, very early days on that front. We've had a little bit of discussion in the office about it. Lots of questions
Yeah.
about how it could work or those sorts of things. So that probably is for a future meeting. And then we'll talk about the beach policy later on. So which parking. More to come there. That's it. We had a couple sets of minutes go out.
You did send the other ones out.
He did, yeah.
Yes. Good job, buddy.
2 sets, I didn't notice anything.
Neither.
I did not either. Does
This
anybody
was
have?
our 5-minute meeting.
Oh, right, okay, so it was that one and right.
Yes.
It was, yeah. Do you have the dates of those minutes? Does anybody have the dates?
So
Want to make a motion?
one was September 10th.
Friday.
27th, that's when.
So,
The September 20th,
20th.
so
September
before
20th.
that.
was one of the meetings, yep.
There are no comments. If somebody care to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve both the September 10th and the September 20th minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Can we jump to the parking?
Sure, yeah. Let me.
That was raised at the last meeting that our
Sorry.
parking signs don't have any date limitations on them. We, in fact, I think in our discussions and policy agreement, when we set them in the spring or in the winter, whenever we do that,
Yeah,
and this goes back, apparently, I think at least to 2017.
Yep.
That's the reference that I saw is, we normally do just say it's Memorial Day to Labor Day, which we all kind of missed. So Tim is working on getting some, assuming we all agree that still makes sense. Tim is working on getting some stickers to be added to the signs that say Memorial Day to Labor Day. Any discussion or questions, comments on
I take it they would be something that's suitable to bear all the elements.
Yeah.
Being a sticker on the
Absolutely.
sign.
yeah, I mean, it's funny because like because these have become so popular, the sticker game has gone up. So a lot of things are like dishwasher things now. So yes, we can absolutely get something.
Quality
that-
stickers.
Yeah. quality.
I think, and then the other piece, I think we don't need to deal with it now because we won't be enforcing it until Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But as we go through the policy and the, whenever, again, winter, early spring time,
Mhm.
I think it's worth just talking about the potentially separating out the spaces on Town Road and Lake Shore. So that those are not enforced after dark or in the evening after hours, so that residents can use those spots if that makes sense.
Oh, it's only enforced while the lifeguard is there, basically.
Well, no, I think during while the park is open, it would be enforceable, and then
Yeah.
also our lot would be, it's closed after dark, but
Because
potentially those other spots could.
Yeah.
Make it clear, I mean, the reality is nobody's ticketing there after hours anyway.
right.
Clarify that for everybody.
Yeah. The park itself, so that includes the parking lot, has always had the from dawn till dusk. And I mean, 300 King Street's the same way, Bay's the same way. So realistically, after dusk, there really shouldn't be anyone there.
Right. That's something we can wrap into next year's discussion.
But you were specifically talking about the street.
I think just that we were just talking about this before, just to make sure that we have covered this, if we can get a motion to say that parking permits are only enforced from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
And from dawn to dusk.
No, we'll do Memorial Day to Labor Day for now.
I'll make a motion that the Long Lake parking permits are only enforced Memorial Day to Labor Day.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thanks.
And then why don't we'll have it on the agenda for next time, but if there's any public input.
Yeah.
We'll do that now.
Go for it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Another example of you just consistent with like the pathway. Devin Dorcas brought it up. Next meeting, you were already mobilized and doing it, and I know it's genuinely appreciated from the feedback I've received in the community. I expect a similar thing with this one. So thank you all very much.
Welcome. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah. Right. Let me go back, so. Get a preview of all the good stuff. Okay. All right, so some project updates. So Jim has done some of this whilst I've been away. He was gonna try to get on as soon as he could. He had some conflicts tonight, so I'll go through this as best I can. So the middle school tennis courts and Whitcomb Field rehabilitation, So that's something that, we've had a conversation with, FinCom and Select Board. I presented at FinCom, Tim had, presented at the Select Board meeting. And they both have, approved the amended town meeting article that would allow us to, move forward with completing this project. I'll go forward, sorry, I just got a text from Kevin. Kevin will be here. So, we'll go, over that later on, this evening, but, so that's happened. We are on the agenda for the, 16th, of October for CPC, to review that. We've already had some preliminary conversations, with Carolyn, the chair. And the Activitas estimation came in around just under $1 million. So when I go through, I'm going to show you how we've kind of broken out the funding, how we're going to pay for it. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Do we want to just point out that you and Tim also presented this to the school committee and that they were in favor as well?
I think I did last month.
Was that last one?
Yeah. I know. It's gone by fast, like real fast.
Was that August that happened?
No, we did it, I think it was early September, yeah. But yes, that is also a true statement that it is, has been voted on and approved by the school committee. So,
General support across the board?
yeah,
No
it's
one-
been pretty good.
no one-
I mean, going into the finance committee meeting, I definitely thought there was some really great questions that were asked. But I think we did a pretty good job explaining the benefits that we get out of, changing this project, from what it originally was, at the high school. So, they seem very supportive of that. So, CPC is the last step. And then we'll see at town meeting how it goes. Any other questions about that one?
What's the date for town meeting again?
It is
Oh.
October 29th. Oh, sorry, but
Just to prepare you, select board last night, George Sanders spoke during public comment and says he's going to bring up the 400K transfer switch, feels it should have been returned to the town.
That's a different project.
It is a different project?
is it one of ours?
King Street. 336 King Street.
Oh, yeah, that's the building that was purchased, the
My
old Indian
apologies.
Hill,
I
yeah.
apologize. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry.
Okay.
So,
We can talk about that another time.
yeah,
Okay.
it's I mean, I don't think it has a great impact on us. It's a
Okay.
question of how they're keeping the books.
He's he's been doing a good job.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, any other questions? Tennis court? With them? All right. All right, so speaking of 36 King Street, so just an update. All of the demolition and exploratory work is completed, so they've actually moved on to the more permanent jobs, if you will. The outside of the building, they have fixed all of the rot. There was quite a few sections of that, so that was very important to make sure that, we have a sound building, so.
I like the new color.
So that's an interesting one. So yes, it is completely painted on the outside. There are two sections that are actually supposed to be Al gray.
They're not.
They're not.
I don't know.
So we're working on that. We'll get that fixed. Yeah, so the work that they've done, the painting is just like the edging. Oh my God, it's amazing. I'm impressed. Whenever somebody can paint a straight line, it's like, and it's everywhere. It's great. So right now, they're also working on the framing, electrical and rerouting pipes. There's a lot of pipes, especially in the basement, that needed to be moved so they can actually have like somewhat of a usable ceiling height because it is pretty low. And then we had asked if there was a possibility of creating a space for at least one bathroom, one toilet, a sink in the basement. And that was approved by PMBC. So they are starting to work on that and figure out what system they're going to have to use because it's since it's on the bottom level, they'll have to pump everything up. So yeah, we've got the meeting with all of the OPM, all the contractors tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, I'll have an update after that as well. But so far, I mean, they're doing great. Seems like they're gonna still be able to stay on time. Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, to the earlier point since we're on it, this is I forget, it's one of the early articles, but it's the reallocation of the design, the leftover design funds to
Okay.
construction.
Okay.
Which is, we've done pretty typically on most of our building projects when we have.
Yeah, because there's usually like a contingency, and if there's stuff that's left over, you know, you can.
So, and I think the question is, you know, when you do that, are you increasing the budget of the overall project, or are you just moving the funds from one to another?
Mhm.
George would like the funds to go back to general fund, but not increase the budget. I think realistically that the construction is going to cost what it's going to cost, and we're not going to add.
Yeah.
We're still trying to come in under budget with
I know.
whatever, and so I don't.
And
know
I mean,
that
there's
changed
been,
anything.
it's an old building. I mean,
Right.
as much as it seems like new, you know, there's a lot of really quirky things in that space, and you know, they've been coming up with solutions for things and been doing a really good job, but yeah, they're doing the best they can with what they got.
At the PNBC meeting earlier in
Mhm.
September, they mentioned the HVAC units being towards the end of their life. Did they
Correct.
decide to replace those, or did they just said they're towards the end of the life?
I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure. So I will look into that and I will get back to you. I feel like that is a correct statement, but I'm not 100. I don't want to like commit to that. So let me write that down. I'll get back to you. Yeah, I will let you know. Anything else?
What's the target move-in date? Is it still, was it February?
March.
March. Okay.
March, yeah, 2025. So March.
And has there been any further discussion around Shattuck Street plans for?
No, it's interesting that you say that, because there's definitely been a recent interest in our location. So I think that is something that we will, you know, Tim and I are gonna sit down and kind of look at what could potentially work. Because the reality is that, you know, we don't have any sort of transportation available to us at this moment, other than vans, which is not gonna work to be able to pick up kids and move them where they need to go. Because you can only fit 11 kids in a van, and each van that we use takes one of us, right? So it's, yeah, we need to come up with a busing solution before we can really move that program out of there. And then the preschool program, which has been doing really well, we don't have space for that in this new building. So, yeah, there's things where we have to figure out what this balance is gonna be. Obviously, the office that I'm in, the office that Tim's in, where the program coordinators, actually, I think we had talked about usage of that space for the program, but like the two offices where Tim and I are now, that's something, you know, we could give that up to another department that wanted to be there, but they still would have kids, you know, running around. So it's, you know, like I've talked to IT department, and Nancy is, you know, she started off in Parks and Rec. And so, you know, for her, that'd be like, this is great. I love it. But it's not everybody's cup of tea. And I get that, because the kids are loud and will come in and distract you. And
So are there
yeah.
other departments that are outgrowing the spaces? Is that?
Yeah, the definitely land use is an area where, you know, we now have a board of health, or sorry, a health director.
Yeah.
We just got a new building commissioner. And all of the folks that are down there don't have any offices. They're in cubicles.
Okay.
So I think that is a concern. Additionally, HR is, they have two people in the office, and the actual HR director is in like a, like high cubicle, but there's no privacy, you know, so it's one of those things where, you know, she truly does need a space of her own. Yeah, there's definitely a need that
But the schools are also moving out of their wings, so that's.
they want to shut down all of 33
Oh, I see. Okay.
and like mothball it and not use it
Gotcha.
at all.
Okay.
So that was part of the, you know, the thing that we're looking at. Is that something, you know, do we really want to do that? You know, you have all this space
Right.
over there. Or is there some sort of, I don't know. So we got to come up with a plan, and then we'll start having conversations and then try to figure out what makes sense.
So is 33 where the offices used to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the, so we were on the bottom floor. Elder and Human Services is currently on the second floor, and the school department is currently, or central school office is currently on the third.
Okay. And
So
then
once-
town, like the Dan Corians, et cetera, are in the middle section. Right?
That's 37, yeah. So
They
once,
realize all these different numbers, okay.
Wait.
I know, there's 33, 37, and 41. So the
Okay.
building itself has 3 different address
Not
numbers.
us. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And on the first day we hire somebody, I have to go through the whole like, this is how building works. It's confusing. It's an old school building.
It's one building,
Okay.
but lots.
All right. All right.
Work
I'm gonna move on. So, special events. I don't know if you want to talk about this, because unfortunately it breaks my heart, but I was not there.
I mean, so I don't have any details other than I stopped by in the middle of Saturday afternoon. It was very busy. Everybody seemed to be having a good time. There were significant but not oppressive lines for food and drinks, and
Yeah.
so everybody, yeah, the band was good and seemed like a great time.
I think Tim had estimated that there was over 3,000 people there throughout the course of the day. So yeah, and it's, I know Dirigible had done really well, and that's, you know, that's one of the reasons we love doing stuff like this, to be able to help, you know, smaller businesses.
Yeah, I mean, Dirigible had a good line going. Was it Fat Rooster
Yeah,
had a significant line, I think Ed's Weenies was there.
yeah,
So.
Yeah.
we did, yeah, a couple of different food trucks.
Which was good because there were lots of people getting food.
Yeah.
Which is good.
We were there
Sure.
later in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It was still pretty busy. We were there busy. Yeah. Probably like 4 till close or something like that. And yeah, it's still a good crowd. And I got roped into doing the peg toss.
You did it.
Oh,
Did not do
Nice.
well. But yes. We'll just say the same individual who was really responsible for me joining this committee is the one who was standing next to me, telling me, "Mom, you have to do it."
I love it. I love it.
Yes,
That was similar to how I got roped into the Steinway, so good.
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, we got some stuff from the vendors. The vendors were cute. There was a cookie vendor there, some very good cookies,
Yeah.
and some cute little. There was a glass vendor, stained glass vendor, and there was yeah, and there was a local person who had done like wooden bowls and stuff, and we got a really cute little wooden snowman. So there were some good vendors.
Awesome.
And the only feedback I heard in my mom role was people saying, "Why is it the same day as the Acton Oktoberfest? I wish it was a different day so we could enjoy both."
You can. That's the thing, right? You
I
can
said,
start
"Well,
off at
theirs
one
is earlier in the day." I did say that.
Yeah.
And ours runs till 5. And then people say, "Why does it end at 5?" I'm like, "It's a Parks and Rec event."
Yeah.
What are what are you talking about? Yeah. Not going till midnight.
It's one of those
Families.
things, like, a touch a truck was a great example. That and, like trunk or treat, they always just end up being on the same days and times, so.
But it was a glorious day. The weather was phenomenal.
But that, I don't know if you have any contact, maybe we, try and coordinate next year, but
We can, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's worth a shot to,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think are you talking about the West Acton one?
I think
It
so.
was, so that actually is not through the rec department.
Oh, okay.
It is, I believe, with, like True West.
Oh,
Interesting.
It's like a business thing, so,
okay.
but
I think Groton Fest might have been the same day too.
was it?
I was like, there's so much.
It is the, It
The
is the
prime
season.
day. it's
Festival
prime-
season.
It's
yeah.
everything.
Harvest Festival, yay!
It's the time.
True. But all right,
Kudos to all.
yeah, they did a good job there.
So, I've attended lots of them. I have 2 kids, now I'm up to 4 granddaughters. Park and Rec staff, Park and Rec Commission. It's awesome. I mean, it's unparalleled. I put since I've come here, I put up the events that you folks put on up against anybody. And feel like, yep, you guys are gonna take out on it. It's awesome.
So the next one we have coming up, is trunk or treat. So we had lots of discussions about this. We are gonna go the day after Halloween, so November 1st. And we'll do it in Alumni parking lot, which is where we did it last year. And we'll have food trucks, we do the costume parade, and then we'll actually have the trunk or treating from 6:30 to 7:30, I think it was. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to show up in costume or you want to do a trunk yourself, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just amazing how creative people get on about things, and if you haven't been, just the swarm of people will make you dizzy. It's crazy. I know you've been there a couple of
I
times.
think there are lots of them.
It's pretty wild.
That's Friday night.
Friday night,
Okay.
yeah.
There's no school dance that night, is there?
Hope not. Not that we're aware of.
And for our vast listeners out there, if someone is interested in doing a trunk, how do they go about that?
Great question. So there is, so you can call the office, we can walk you through everything. But you can also go onto the website and click on where you register for a program. And you can register a trunk. So I don't believe that there's a cost to it because the expectation is, you're putting in all that effort to, decorate your trunk, buy candy, all of that stuff. So it's just more of a special community event rather than, we're not making any money off of it. It's just,
And for people attending park in the middle school parking lot or sort of
Say that again.
park in the middle school parking lot and
Yeah, it'll
The
be
access
similar,
roads or-
yeah, similar to how we've done it in the past. So middle school parking lot, it's there, I believe there was some parking up along, where you go into, Russell Street.
by,
But we'll
by
close
Jeff.
off, that whole section, down where, alumni is. So
or you could park at the library and walk in.
absolutely, yeah, or town hall, any
Yeah,
of those things,
right.
absolutely. Cause there is a path that walks, straight down there to it, so. Yeah. Put that in your calendars, it's a great event. Okay. And we did that. So just review of articles for special town meeting. So this goes back to, we talked about the, tennis courts. So I did print out for you all, it's Article 4. So with Article 4, there's a lot of information here. So essentially what it's saying is that we're requesting for a build of 4 new tennis courts adjacent to the middle school and to renovate Wickham baseball field adjacent to Russell Street Elementary. So shifting the baseball field permanently from the high school to Wickham. And that will allow us to use all of the fields at the high school specifically for soccer only, which essentially is the answer to our space needs issues. So we'll do a revamp of presentation that we've done in the past. The one I did for FinCom, I feel like was too long, so I need to be able to tighten that up for town meeting. So Tim and I are working on that. But essentially it goes through, remember we said the estimation came in at just under $1 million. So this is the breakdown of the funding. So, we would essentially take what we asked for, last year and just scrap it all. So, we would rescind that whole article and we would be starting from scratch again. So the request would be from, the CPC recreation bucket that we would ask for $700,000. LELWD had given CBC a gift of $200,000 that was specifically supposed to go to a a recreation or parks project that they would support. So they have supported this project and they'll be putting that money to that. And then May 7th, 2024, there was a transfer that happened from the town to go into that CPC rec bucket of 118,000. So that's, it is the same thing as the rec bucket, but it was money that was specifically put in last year. So that money, and then that leaves us with about $15,650. And that's to be determined. That's something they're still looking at. It's such a small amount. Do they really want to borrow for that? Or are they going to figure out, like, are they going to pay for it out of town operating budget or free cash if there's some available? So internally, the Ryan, who's the MCPPO, which is procurement officer, is looking at what makes the most sense to do. So that little chunk is still up in the air, but that would get us to $1,034,000. So that would give us a cushion of a contingency so that, if there was any issues, we'd be able to cover that. But hopefully, if it all goes relatively well, then we'll be able to get money back, which we hope to be able to do. So, yeah.
So are they hoping to go to town meeting with suggested options for the $15,600?
They'll have something solidified
So
by
that the
then.
town can,
Mhm.
it's not just a vague.
Right, no, it won't be a like,
It's like,
and
we'll never
whatever we
pass.
decide to do, like,
Never
no,
get
they'll
passed.
they'll have a final answer for what they're going to do by town meeting. Yeah. Any questions on that? Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Okay. The other article that we were supposed to have on there was moving the Schedule C club positions to Schedule B. So in communicating with the HR department, those positions needed to have the approval of the Personnel Advisory Committee, which she and Tim, because that was while I was away, went through that process, and they have approved that change. It needs to still be approved by the select board, but legally it does not have to go to town meeting. So it doesn't have to go to town meeting. But we are every annual meeting, we do an article that relates to the class and compensation grid. So HR kind of keeps track of all of those changes that happen through the year, and they do one big article at annual town meeting. So just for transparency that this is something that we've done, they will put it in annual town meeting. But if the select board approves, we would then be able to, hire people on as that Schedule B role rather than Schedule C, which means they're eligible for benefits because their positions, if they work over 20 hours, because they're working in that position longer than 6 months. So, yeah. Questions, comments, concerns? No, okay. All right, let's see how this one goes, Paul. Okay.
Ooh, it looks difficult.
I know. So I went back and I think I found the one that you were looking for. So this is just talking about our ins and outs right now, right? So when it says negative 57, that's just because, we don't collect the money. You'll see on the next slide, actually 70% of our revenue comes in for summer programs. So though it does look like we're operating in the negative, we do have money from previous fiscal years in that revolving account. So we are fine. But to date, it shows you how much revenue we've taken in, what we've expended, and what our yearly wages have been so far. And it's stacked, right? Because we start in July. So the majority of all of our summer seasonal staff is in July and August. So that's why the wages are going to be higher and expenses also will be higher. But that probably won't move much over the next couple months. And then usually in January, once we open for camp, that's when you're going to see that revenue really change. So that's just kind of like start year to date. This is gross, but I think this is what you wanted.
Oh my goodness.
So on this, this was from fiscal year 24, right? I went back just to do the exercise to look at it. So the yellow indicates what the actual net was. There also is, I think Camp T is a better one to look at just because you can see the lines a bit more. So wages on there, expenses on there, revenues on there, those all together are going to give you your net, obviously. So when you look at each of the yellow boxes, that will tell you what the net was for those specific programs. So the only ones that were in the negative were Tabulon Explorations and the beach. And the beach we had already talked about because you know, we had to do the walkway, which was $30,000, and there were some other things too. So realistically, it would have made money.
That wasn't, the walkway was in the end of fiscal year 24, right? Okay.
Yeah, yep. And then I also put it in just to kind of look at, you know, our you know, Camp T, obviously, we always say that's our bread and butter, right? So that's 47% of the net revenue that we get. But looking at all of those and kind of adding it together, you know, that's that statistic that I said earlier, about 70% of all of our revenue comes from our summer programming. So yeah, the other 30 is just throughout the school year. So I don't know how long you want me to leave it up there. But if you do have questions, feel free. I see, yeah, Pete's like,
Tennis.
Yes.
So those tennis lessons at the old tennis court?
mhm. We used to make 30,000 a year.
Really? Oh.
So yeah, this year we just made under $600 because we don't have tennis courts.
Will we be able to use the new ones?
Oh, yeah. I'm not putting all this effort into
Okay.
it if
All right,
we're
good.
not allowed
Good,
to.
good, good, good.
Well, so that, yeah, I think to clarify, we'll be able to use the new ones after, outside of school hours.
School.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then we'll be able to use the high school courts
For pickleball.
for, well, you could use it for tennis.
You
too,
could
right?
too, yeah, absolutely.
During the day, using parking at 36 King Street as the access point, so you can kind of get onto the edge of school property without having to really
Yeah.
intrude.
I think like if the like if the PE gym classes are gonna use it, that's something we have to like, you know, work that out, but
Yeah, but that, I can,
I mean, there's also, you know, there's a separation between two, so if they wanted to use one court and the other, you know, we can work all of those things
Right.
out.
yeah, I'm sure they have a tennis segment for a week or something.
Oh, absolutely, right, but it's not gonna be the entire year, yeah.
So. But, yeah, this was essentially what I was looking for, so that's good.
Only took 3
But
checks.
this- Well, actually, so, yeah, I mean, just to be good, so this Camp T balance is expenses from summer of 23 and revenue from,
So on this one, because I only had 2 days, yeah, I just did, everything from this last fiscal year.
yeah, that's not right.
So, yes, you are absolutely correct. That's what we should be looking at. And I can do those numbers for you. I just wanted to have something for
Yeah,
you.
no, this is great.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can, you know, I don't know how your system works. Hopefully we can eventually build queries and things
Yeah.
that make this fairly straightforward, but.
I figured out like a system, but there's still some quirks and things. So,
Yeah.
you know, we just have to work that out,
Yep.
work with treasury and finance and
Right.
we'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And beach includes sailing and
It does.
those things. Yeah.
Mhm.
Would you just say include sailing?
Yeah.
Include sailing, fishing, snack shacks, yeah, I think sailing and fishing are really the only programs. Yeah.
I'm curious, because didn't we have a really rainy start of the summer? It seems so long ago. It's
That
been
was
so
last
dry.
summer.
Was it last summer?
Yeah, not this summer, the summer before.
Okay.
I mean, we had a dismal year
Yeah,
financially for the beach just because like, why are you gonna be at the beach if it rains 24/7?
Right.
So, yeah, that was a tough summer. No, the summer was pretty good.
Oh, actually, speaking of the beach.
Yeah.
And I, this is maybe not helpful at this point, but it was pointed out to me by Rob
Yeah,
that because of the coordination between sort of Manawanaki and Forge Pond, between Littleton and Westford,
uh-huh,
Littleton residents do get resident access to Forge Pond.
really?
At Westford Beach.
Interesting. Look at that.
So
It's at Westford Beach.
at the Westford Beach.
Yeah.
So for anybody who, that may be changing for next summer, so TBD. but-
Yeah,
So there's some coordination in the support of the lake over there, and
yeah,
because of that, they made an agreement.
That's, the access at Forge Village, that you go
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
that beach.
Get by the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
And there's a little playground over there.
So, and it's free for residents, and there is a fee for non-residents, but you get included.
I mean, we can reach out to Michelle, the director, and, talk to her.
Tim apparently was having some conversations with her recently anyway, so
Yeah, she's great. We have a good relationship with her.
there may be changes to the program company.
Cool.
I think at last meeting, and I can't remember, I was looking for my notes, but, there was discussion of doing a yearly membership for rentals.
We
talked
did,
about that?
yeah,
It was, may have been outside of the meeting, but
it's something that's come up from time to time.
Mhm.
So, that's something I think, maybe that's a policy to work offline and then bring it to,
yeah, I mean, I
meeting.
think that probably should be rolled into the whole sort of beach operation
Yeah.
plan.
which we typically do. I think December is the first meeting that we hold just to give the public,
Right.
an opportunity to speak over the next couple of months if we need to work things out. Yeah, so that's usually like a winter project, we'll start talking about the
Yeah.
policies.
So yeah, I think a membership is, what's up?
Yeah,
Are you talking about kayak rentals?
Yeah,
Sailboat, kayak.
sailboats guys sort of having
like a membership.
a seasonal membership rather than a per hour, or in addition to the per hour rates.
Yeah,
I think a review of the per hour rates is probably also in order.
Yeah. Okay.
Does not seem to be a lot of rental activity.
yeah,
Um,
Might be one of those things people just aren't aware of. Maybe.
we do get people that call a lot, usually in the off seasons, and they're like, can we rent the boat? And it's like, there's nobody.
Yeah, I guess that was another suggestion from the public to, look at expanding rental hours. Rental times, so.
Okay.
Just something to think about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The hard, I mean, finding someone to
Staffing,
staff it, that's
right.
the hard part.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's finding someone or a couple someones to staff it and then also making sure that it's viable financially,
right. Yeah,
that you've got enough activity. Although I will say that there's been lots of activity at the beach,
oh,
certainly.
Well, we
Yeah.
had like a second summer. in
Yeah.
September.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. That there's been lots of activity down there.
new business stuff. So I did apply for the United Way after school and out of school time grant. This is something I had gone for after COVID, and we were awarded money then. Last year, they changed the eligibility and rec departments were not eligible, but they changed them again. And I applied, so we were awarded $27,295 for the club specifically. So that will help us cover costs for staff wages, special programming, supplies. So that's something I did want to get a vote from you just to accept that, so we can move forward and sign the documents with them when they get those papers to us.
Good job.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
I'll make a motion to accept the award from United Way ASOST grant funding for the club in the amount of $27,295 for the club 2024 to 2025 year.
A second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye,
Awesome, thanks.
excellent.
Yeah, it's massively helpful. So it just means we can do a little bit extra, for the kids, and it's great. You wanted to put the discussion of the weekly packet signer rule?
Yeah, so I mean, I will say that I've loved this for quite some time, and it was my role. Kevin, I think, has been very busy. We assigned it to him, and I don't think he's managed it either, so.
No, yeah.
I don't know, do we need one person? Can it be multiple people with
I think it should be one person just for the sake of, realistically, you should be looking at the documents and saying, yeah, I checked things, they're good to go. So just for that, I think it should be, but I don't know, I think I'd have to ask for clarification if we could do more than one.
Okay. Is anybody else able to do it, or, so it's coming into the office once a week or once every 2 weeks?
Essentially once a week, there's the AP packet, which is, all of our bills. We have the credit card statements, which is expenditures, payroll, I guess you could do the turnovers if you wanted to, that's fine, yeah. So then it's like looking at all the finances and just saying like, yeah,
Have you been doing it, so?
No, I was assigned for the previous couple of years and was not very good about doing it. And currently it's Kevin.
yeah.
Okay.
And it is an important thing, to just have that backup and, I think I said Sean Sullivan was the last person that was like always there on a weekly, visit. But, yeah, so it is something we really do need to do that. We have been very lax on it, so.
I can probably do it, so I will attempt to.
I mean, I'm also local, I just, my telework days and work days kind of flip flop all around, so.
Yeah,
Wouldn't have be able to do it on a set day.
I don't think that matters. Yeah, because you can, you can set it up so that you review like the week before and, whenever you can. It's just as long as somebody's doing it at like a regular interval,
Mhm.
and yeah, that would be good.
Give it a shot, so.
Yeah, so
So it's up to you.
when do I start?
Well, so then we have to do the, nomination, all that.
Do we need to do that at an agenda meeting, or can we do that here?
Is Kevin still doing it now?
Kevin hasn't been doing it. I love him, but he's a busy
Oh, is it
man.
like a pile of them now?
We just file stuff.
Yeah.
Just file it.
We'll start from whenever you start and
Yeah,
move ahead.
we'll give you a backlog of stuff. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, the main question is, does it have to be posted on our agenda for us to then make a motion on this?
again, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think it's gonna be challenged. I'm gonna go ahead and say, let's
Yeah.
nominate Peter to take over the packet signer role.
It's good.
Slide my life away.
Right,
Do you
so-
second that?
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Better to have.
What time is the office open every day?
We're open from 9 to 4 on Monday through Thursday, and then 9 to 2 on Fridays. But, I mean, I live in town whenever you want. I'll make time for it. All right. Old business, so John started his first day as the recreation supervisor on September 30th. So he did that. That's, we're having conversations of, you know, how all of those changes will be implemented. So, Tim and John have been doing a lot of work and, just trying to figure out how we reshuffle some of that stuff around. So, yeah, so that's been going really good. And he's officially in the role now, which is nice. Yay, go Cavs, go Cavs. Old business, kind of new business. So the Board of Health did meet and they have downgraded the EEE threat to moderate. So essentially that means that all outdoor restrictions have been lifted. However, they are recommending that the public follow the same guidelines that we talked about before to protect themselves. So that's putting on bug spray, wearing long pants, long sleeves, socks, all of those things, repair any torn screens. If you have your windows open, remove standing water around the house. And just knowing that dusk till dawn is that peak time for biting for mosquitoes that carry those diseases. So,
Are they still doing Friday night football games?
well, they will be now.
They're
Yeah,
back to.
We're not.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It, I think had become Saturday afternoon games.
So yes, it will go back to Friday night games. But wear your bug spray, put on a hoodie.
Frost is coming.
Please, frost come.
And there's no football game on Friday, November 1st.
I don't know. That's a really great
That's
question.
trick or treat, trunk or treat.
You go away for 2 weeks with all these things.
Hopefully we thought that through.
I feel like Tim's really good about that stuff, so we'll be good. So we got this.
All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second?
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.